Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. So I'll start this week with my individual assignment. I'll talk about Alexander Tensman and his set of pieces pour les enfants, that means for children. So Tensman was a Polish composer, even though he lived most of his life in France. He even got the French citizenship. And he even described himself as a French-Polish composer. So Tensman not only wrote pieces for children, but he also was a very prolific composer. He wrote pieces for orchestra, chamber music, even guitar. And he was also a virtuoso pianist. And I found out a very interesting fact about him is that he even performed for Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. I found that so interesting. So he wrote this set of pieces for children called For Children. There are 4 sets, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, graded from very easy, fairly easy, and moderately advanced. My assignment is the fairly easy set. So from this set, I chose 3 pieces, the easiest one being Noel. So let's start with Noel. Noel is a very simple melody with a simple accompaniment in thirds, as you can see. And it has some very interesting approach. The left hand does the melody too as the right hand. So this is very interesting to work on the balance of the hands. So right hand with melody, left hand softer, and then it changes in the middle of the song. So the child has to work well this balance. The second piece was the medium difficulty I chose was called Awakening. So Awakening reminds me a little bit of the difficulty of the album for the young, Schumann, the one called Melody, because it has the difficulty here that I found the most challenging is the double notes on the right hand. You see there are many double notes, and they are supposed to be played legato. So that involves the hand needing to, let me focus more here. So the right hand needs to do legato on the top note and separate the bottom note. So this is a little challenging for the coordination, and while doing that, keeping the phrasing. And the left hand also has a great part here, not only accompaniment, but I can find counter melodies. So that is a little bit challenging too. It's not too difficult, it's a slow movement, but it's a very interesting piece to work on phrasing and legato with double notes. The next piece is called the Warbler. That means warbler is a name for a little bird, a little songbird. So as the name describes, it's a very happy and jumping melody with many staccatos, and the challenge here is that it is in a fast tempo. You see the left hand is full of staccatos, and the right hand does this melody imitating the bird song. So many 16th notes and many accents on weak beats too. Not only you have the expected, rhythm square, but it has accents in different beats that you wouldn't expect, like well, you're gonna see better in the recording. So the easiest piece of the set, well, I would say it could be for a beginner, Awakening for intermediate, early intermediate, and Warbler for intermediate students. Now I'm going to talk about G-Loc set of preludes, lyric preludes in romantic style. First, G-Loc was born in 1917 and died in 1993. He was an American composer. I really enjoyed his pieces. These are very, very beautiful pieces, and certainly a great preparation for the more complex works of the Romantic period. And he wrote these 24 preludes, and the order in which he used the keys is quite unusual. Instead of using the relative major and minor keys, which share the same key signature, he chose the parallel minor, so C major, C minor, so they don't share the same key signature. This is a very interesting order choice. So the ones I chose were, the easiest one is called Silent Snow. As you can see, it's a very simple melody and very simple accompaniment for the left hand too. And the interesting thing is that the accompaniment and melody, they are exchanged between left and right. So it starts with the right hand, the melody, and then in the middle of the song, the left hand does melody and the right accompaniment, just like the Tansman Noel piece that I showed you before, that I talked to you about before. So this is very good to work hand balance, as I said, for Noel too. And also the use of the pedal here, it is a good opportunity to start using the pedal for a beginner, because it is such a simple melody and the pedal doesn't need to be syncopated. So it's a very good start for the use of the pedal too. The second piece I chose was Moonlight Mood. This is a very adorable piece with kind of a jazzy sound, a very, as it says, mist-like in the description. It's very beautiful, the harmonies, and it has double notes all the time, which could be a little challenging, and a fast scale, you know, in the middle of the song. It uses also whole tone scale, so the sonority of this piece is very interesting, and it's a very pleasant piece to play. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. I'll certainly give that to one of my students. So I think the challenge in this piece is to keep the legato and the phrasing with all these double notes. You see all the time thirds and lots of slurs, so keeping the continuity while playing double notes. And also the pedal. The pedal here is more complicated than Silent Snow. And the scales, of course, the fast scales. They don't need to be super fast, but I would say that this would be early intermediate piece. And then the last one, the hardest one, is called the Fountain of Diana. This one is hardest because, as you can see in the writing, it has many 16th notes, but it's also a very, very nice piece. And I think the challenge here would be to keep the evenness in the 16th notes, because the right hand is playing them throughout the whole song, and it's quite a fast speed, quite a fast tempo. So, and the left hand does a little melody, but the greatest challenge would be the speed, to play them leggero, lightly and even, with even sound, while doing all the dynamics. This is for students who like fast finger pieces. I would certainly recommend this to everyone. And the last piece, it just disappeared. Oh, it's there. Just a second. So the last piece is the prelude, La fille aux cheveux de lin, from Debussy. Everyone knows this piece. I think this is the hardest one of all. Of course, being one of the challenges, playing all those chords, very big chords, even for my hands, and the rolls, with the sonority is the biggest challenge. You keep a good sonority while playing all these chords, and also the parts that have no chords. The sonority is always a challenge in Debussy. Playing the melody in a continuous way, I found it challenging not to break the phrase, to play a big phrase with not fragmented, and the sonority, the phrasing and the mood. This is certainly the hardest piece. I would say this would be late intermediate at least. So these were my assignments for this week. I hope you enjoy the recordings, and I see you all next week. Bye.